This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by GoToMeeting, online meetings made easy. And you can get a free 30-day trial if you go to gotomeeting.com/Turks.
As Scott Walker is trying to cut either people's jobs or people's pay in Wisconsin, as Chris Christie is threatening to do likewise, he gave a speech today at the American Enterprise Institute saying we must cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And he said, look, I said it. He's like a big tough guy, right? He's the governor of New Jersey saying, and I didn't get struck down by lightning. Yeah, we got to cut it, right? So you got governors like that throughout the country. But there's one guy who's bucking the trend. It's Mark Dayton in Minnesota. He's newly elected Democrat as governor. He's newly elected. And he says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to deliver on my promise. And my promise was to raise taxes. How you like them apples? People got to talk about this guy more. He said, look, we have a serious budget problem. We have a $6.2 billion deficit over the next 2 years. And nickeling and diming on the spending cuts, that's important, and it's, and will get us some of the way there. But it's not going to do it by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise half of the money in taxes. So Scott Walker, goes after the unions, and he's going to save $30 million, he says, right? Here, Governor Dayton in Minnesota is going to raise $3.1 billion. That's 100 times as much. Now, how is he going to do it? You ready for this? He says, right now, the current state rate for people making above $114,000 in Minnesota is 7.85%. Now, he's going to change it so that for people making above $130,000, so that's a little higher income, right? He's going to change it to 10.95%. So let me do the quick math for you. That's 3% higher. 3% higher. That's it. Okay? That's for the highest bracket, making over 130 in Minnesota. And then two other quick things. He says a temporary surtax on incomes of over $500,000 and state property tax on homes valued at over $1 million. Now, that's for an even richer bracket, obviously, as you can tell with the numbers there. And that way he raises $3 billion. And he's like, see, I didn't have to cut as much because we were reasonable and we said, hey, why don't we all share in the pain? Now, the other half, he's got to find in other ways, right? But at least he covered half of it by charging people who are making more. Now, of course, and by the way, this would affect only the top 5% of earners in Minnesota. Now, of course, the Republicans say, oh, all the rich people are just going to fly out of Minnesota. They're going to, all right, let's see what happens, right? The Republican governors are saying, hey, let's do drastic spending cuts and see what happens. Bob McDonnell in Virginia is bragging about it. He said, I cut them. What are you going to do about it, right? All across the country. And now Mark Dayton's saying, okay, I'm going to raise taxes by 3% on the top 5%. And my guess is that people are not going to all of a sudden move out of Minnesota and we're going to be perfectly fine and address our budget problems in a much more significant and real way than through the spending cuts. It's fascinating. And by the way, that's what he promised in the election, and he won. Maybe Democrats should pay attention to that. Like, hey, if you say, you know what, the rich aren't fully responsible, and it's not just their job to cover it, but they do have to share the pain with everybody else. If a guy's getting his pension cut who's not making anywhere near that money, why not also ask the guy making above $500,000 for a temporary surtax? Seems perfectly reasonable to me. And obviously, if it passes, we'll see what the results are. And my guess is the results will be that the budget will be a lot more balanced and nobody will move out of Minnesota. We'll see.
And these days, everybody's in different offices in different cities. The one way you can all get together is gotomeeting.com. You're all online at the same time.
Right, and it's super easy. All you need is a computer, internet connection, 2 minutes, boom, you're set up.
You can share documents. A guy puts up a document in Miami, the other one sees it in San Francisco. You can, in fact, amend it. You can do sales presentations, very convenient.
And the best part of all this is that you get a free 30-day trial by going to gotomeeting.com/Turks.
Go.